A Promelian battlecruiser's Lang cycle fusion engines are still intact. Guinan is attracted to bald men, and Geordi and Christie have had enough Coco no-nos. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. I don't know how I got through that one. That one felt like a tongue twister to me.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was impressed.
Thanks. Today, I don't even know. I'm going to have to go back and see if I actually pronounced everything correctly. Today, we're doing a review of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 3, Episode 6, Booby Trap, story by Michael I. Wagner and Ron Roman, written by Ron Roman and Michael Piller and Richard Dennis, directed by Gabrielle Beaumont. This was October 28th, 1989. Where were you? How you doing today, Cirroc?
Doing good. 1989. Yeah. Those are good years.
You know, I can tell you where I was in 1989. I think that was it October 28th? That was 11 days after the big Loma Prieta earthquake, I believe, in the Bay Area, the 7.1 in the Bay Area. So we were still kind of reeling from that. People were still looking, through the rubble for their Oakleys and windbreakers. And, it was
starter jackets. Yeah. I don't remember specifically that was the one that happened televised, the earthquake that was televised.
Yeah, I was actually watching
at the game.
I was watching the Bay Bridge series. The Giants were down 2-0. Yeah. The first two were in Oakland. This one was finally going to be in San Francisco. And at 5:05, the announcer's like, we got the starters. Oh, tell you what, folks, we're having an earthquake. I remember he called everybody folks. It's like, that's weird. But
I remember that. And I remember watching the TV. I was watching it with my dad, actually. That was one of the few memories I have with my dad as a young adult. And we were watching that game when the broadcast was interrupted. And I was thinking to myself, are they going to bring this game back? They're like, yeah, because I'm thinking the game's going to come back on, but it didn't that day. It was amazing.
Yeah. Definitely I was growing up in San Jose at the time. It was definitely the biggest earthquake I've been in, that's for sure. It was pretty wild. Like the streets were like waving. It's pretty nuts. It was only 15 seconds long, but it felt like forever. Anyway, everybody, what are you doing in March? We have Creation Entertainment's Trek to San Francisco. That's hashtag STSF, March 8th through 10th. It's going to be amazing. Cirroc, are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there. Hell yeah. Wouldn't miss it.
Well, check this out. Look at how many guests there are going to be there so far. We got Brent Spiner, Bonnie Gordon, Casey. Look at Cirroc Lofton's here. All kinds of people. Yeah. Everybody, you got to go to this. It's going to be incredible. It's in San Francisco. You no longer have to wait until Vegas in August. You can go in San Francisco, March 8th through 10th. It's going to be a ton of fun. Whoa, that is a gorgeous man. Robert Picardo.
That looks like Ryan Husk right there.
Man,
Hold on a second. Who is that? Right next to him. All right. Yeah. Somebody else is going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be co-hosting all weekend.
Co-hosting all weekend. So you'll be busy working.
It's going to be so much fun. Cirroc and I are going to have a Seventh Rule panel as well. You guys can meet Cirroc Lofton in person. It's going to be amazing. Go to creationentertainment.com. That's creationent.com and go to the events page and find it. It's in Burlingame, which is just south of San Francisco, right next to the airport. So you can fly in. You can practically just walk to the hotel. Check it out, creationentertainment.com, ent.com. All right, let's get into this episode. Cirroc, this is kind of a legendary episode. And I've heard murmurs of people saying, I can't wait until Cirroc meets Leah Brahms. What'd you think of her and the situation?
I liked her a lot. I thought, she was really a good on-screen match for Geordi. Um, it seemed like her understanding of the tech terminology and delivering those lines was as good as I've seen someone do it, because I don't understand any of the stuff that she was saying, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't either. But the way she said it, like she did, and it was totally believable, just like the way LeVar Burton delivers his lines and makes it 100% believable. I thought she was a perfect complement to that, because it's not easy to bounce off certain way dialogue that is not pertaining. Well, the intention of the motivation of the language is not the same as what the emotion is conveying. So,
Mhm.
a lot of the stuff that they were talking about was really undercurrent of beefing between a couple, and that kind of stuff. So you to have to express it in a way using technology and circuitry and all of this stuff, I thought was exceptionally done.
That's a really good point about her being a good match for him, because of the way that she was able to deliver the lines. I completely agree, because I'm always talking about how I think that LeVar Burton was the best ever in all of the Star Trek iterations of saying nonsense lines, but making them extremely believable, as if he knows exactly what he's talking about. And if you don't, that's on you. But he sure does. Geordi knows what he's
Yeah.
saying. This lady did such a good job that the way she delivered those lines made it seem like there was something very clear and obvious. Like if she was saying, "Hey, the tomato plants are dying, so I'm going to add more water to it," and you'd be like, "Okay, that makes more sense. I get it." But the things that she said, she would say it as simply and as clearly as that. And I swear, I realized at one point that I was like, I have no understanding of what happened in the last 4 minutes. I literally had to go back 4 minutes and replay that entire. I've never had to do that before. That entire 4 minute. I mean, it's a couple of times I've was thinking of something else and wasn't really paying attention. But this time I was paying attention, realized I didn't know what was happening. But I'm like, but Geordi and Leah know what's going on. So clearly I missed something. Went back, rewatched the whole thing, and I still don't know what was they were talking about.
Yeah.
This is the first time I think in Star Trek history that I'm like, I didn't understand the science, but they delivered it in a way that's just to
Yeah.
compliment them, that to the actors, they knew
Yeah.
what they were talking about.
They were talking about a couple fight. And when a couple fight occurs, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be about the silliest, stupidest thing, but it's a couple fight. And that's really that's all I walked away. I wasn't even following. I was like, let me not even try to follow the science, the routers, the system, the circuit overheating, it's insulated, it's not, whatever, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to try to, even get in there. But I know when a couple fights, they can fight over the remote control, over coffee, over your leg tapping, the toilet seat up. It could be anything. So, and it usually has the same tone as what we were listening to, because
Yeah.
both people think they're right, right? And it usually comes down to two people that think they're right. And so he thinks he's right, and she thinks she's right. And it takes some, butting of the heads for it to get to a point where it's like, oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Okay, you mean that. That's what that specific issue. I'll give you that. That one little grain of detail in the argument, I will agree that you're right about that one thing. The other stuff, I know I'm right about. But that little grain, that morsel that we can, hook something to, that is the thing I will acquiesce. And that was the moment. That's what I saw between them in that moment, where it was like the butting of heads back and forth. I designed it. Well, I operate it. Well, I'm the one who made it up. Well, I'm the one who has to use it. And it was just back and forth until finally it came to like, yeah, but I'm using it. Like, I've got experience with it. So, you might have done the blueprint. I built the building. So I'm telling you, this is marble, not whatever it was written in the, in the blueprint.
Mm.
This is what we substituted. We took the granite and we put marble instead. So I know you think it's supposed to be granite, but no, I built it and we used marble. So I think that's where it comes down to the argument between the two of them. I didn't really try to follow it. I just love the energy because it gave me a couple fighting energy. It gave me like two people that are very well versed in a particular subject that are debating a topic energy. And it didn't matter to me what they were saying. It was the performance was delivered, you know?
Do you think that Geordi was taking her expertise for granted a little bit?
um, no, I
Okay.
don't think so. No, I think that what I really liked, what I loved about this was the fact that he had an infatuation for this. Like there was already a level of expectation before meeting this character, right? He
Mm.
was like, "Oh wow, it looks like looks like you know everything." He wrote the book on this, when he was doing the research prior to meeting this holographic image of this person. He was impressed by that person's knowledge and wisdom prior, without a face, without a recognition of who or what he was talking about. So it could have been an alien of any sort. It could have been any kind of person that he has been dealing with, that he could be dealing with. Not necessarily an attractive person that who's also smart in the exact subject matter that he likes. But so the first thing he was attracted to was the brain of this person. So that is where I thought the basis of this entire thing was going. I loved the way it was written because it did start off with him trying to find this kind of chemistry and love, and so it was kind of the episode is really almost a love story,
Hmm.
a Geordie trying to find love story. And I thought that was the part of the episode that resonated with me that I liked because one, it gives us insight into one of the main characters that we don't get that much backstory on.
Right.
Uh, I want to see more about Geordie. I want to see what he thinks, what his dreams are, what his aspirations. In this case, finding somebody a companion to love and talk to and have fun with. And I thought the moral of the story about being natural and being yourself and letting that being the guideline to finding whatever it is that's going to be suitable for you in life. I thought that is an important message as well, because the more you try hard or out of character to trying to attract something, the less you're going to attract it because you're out of your own comfort zone of being yourself. So I thought that in itself is a general good idea.
That's a really good point about getting to know Geordi better. As you were saying that, I realized that, one of the great ways to understand a character, for the writers and for the viewers and for the actor portraying it is to reveal their weaknesses, right? We knew Picard's weakness from day one. He's not good with kids. He's brash. He's
Hmm.
abrupt. There's a lot of things, right? We know Riker kind of has a weakness, and it's anything with a pulse, kind of. And Wesley's got a weakness. It's his youth. His naivete, right? Worf's weakness, in sports, we say your strength is your weakness a lot of times, right? So Worf's strength is his weakness, that he's just this strong, brash, hit him up. So that's kind of what he focuses on. But we never got to know Geordi as well because we never got to find out what his weakness is. I mean, he's got a physical weakness, right? His visor, his blindness, but
Yeah.
that's not a personality trait. That's something that he overcomes. It tells us a little bit, but what really tells us about something about someone is, traumatic events in their childhood or insecurities or, addictions or, anything like that. That's what really gives you more for the character. And now we know
Hmm.
what this character's weakness is. And that's why a lot of times if you mention to a Star Trek fan, if you say something like, what about Geordi and his love life, for example, most people will react one of two ways. They'll either laugh or they'll go, "Aw," or a combination of, a lot of people just be like, "Aw," because it's just like this poor guy, he just wants to be loved. He keeps he's also kind of, and I'd love to talk about this more in depth in the second segment, but it's also there's some things to be said for, is it appropriate? Is he appropriate? Is he inappropriate? But he's constantly swinging and missing, it seems. But anyway, that was a really good point. Went off on a tangent there. So
Yeah, no, I like that tangent. And I do want to explore it a little bit more because I didn't think it was inappropriate, actually. I thought, first of all, it looked like a hologram. Both of those were hologram programs or simulations, right? They were in.
I think no, I think the first one was not a hologram. It was in a holographic simulation, but that was a real one because remember Wesley was like, "Oh no, Geordi's back from his date with."
Oh,
I think it was a real person. It had to be because if he can't go on a date with a hologram and strike out, that would be, and he's programming the hologram. It's like if he's playing chess against himself and loses. Like, what are you doing wrong, man? One side has to win.
Yeah, yeah. You're writing a really bad program. You need to go see Quark. Uncle Quark will help you out. No, so okay, so that was a real date. We could talk a little bit about that date. Christy was her name.
Yeah, you know what that date had that jumped out for me was, and I don't know, maybe this is way out of left field, but when that violinist started playing, I was like, dude, what?
Yeah,
Get
me
him
too.
out of here. First of
Me
all,
too.
he's too loud. I was just like, you're sitting there on the beach.
Yeah.
Enjoy the relaxing waves, the breeze, the seagulls going by. It's a very relaxing thing. You don't want someone playing the steel drum or the violin or the trumpet next to you. Get out of here. What are you thinking?
And the guy literally walked up to her, like in her face, was like doing one of these. And it's like, dude, bro, seriously, like you're doing like a face off with her. Like, if you want violin music, you can just obviously have music playing in some ambient, anonymous source. We don't know where the source of the music is, just in the background, like elevator music. It could be there playing. But an actual guy walking up, kicking up sand on her while he's digging in her face, like I was like, okay, bro, get out of our face.
You just don't want a third person there.
No,
period.
Not at all.
You know what would have been extra funny?
Unless it's a bartender or bringing drinks. Like, can I bring you a drink? What would you like?
You know what would have been
that kind of a setting.
Super funny though. Check this out. What if, Geordi's just kind of like, oh man, I brought this guy, and then she's like, "Can we get the violin?" And then she stops and goes, "Is that Brahms?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Wow, you're really good at Brahms." And she starts hitting it off with the violinist. And Geordi would just be sitting here twiddling his thumbs like, "Are you freaking serious?" He's hitting it off with the violinist. And she'd be like, "Computer and violin." And she'd be like, "No, wait. Hang on. What's your name?" "Oh,
I'll wait for you here. You go ahead, Geordi. I'll wait for you back here."
Yeah, what's this
fine.
What's this program name? I want to use it again later. This guy's great.
Can you grab us a drink when you get back from the bathroom?
Yeah. And then show yourself out. Thanks.
Yeah. No, that's that was a bad deal. I knew it was not a good deal from the beginning. Obviously, there was a body language issue, the way she was kind of not looking at him, and he wasn't reading any of that. And it's like, bro, you got the infrared eye vision. You should be picking up on the body language here. It's not working for you.
That's a good point.
That was funny too. So, but yeah, costume wise, I wanted to say the sweater. She had like this pink knitted like sweater that was really beautiful. I thought it fit her extremely well. It was accentuating her curvature.
Yep.
And and I thought, whoa, this is legit costuming right here. Also good to see Geordi in non-Starfleet stuff. He was wearing casual vacation like cruise, like if you're on a cruise ship, that would
windbreakers and stuff for 1989.
Yeah, he looked like he was just ready for relaxation. So I kind of like that opening scene. I laughed a little bit with the girl because I was like, boy, strike out. I enjoyed seeing Wesley and Data talking about it too. Like, hey, it's just those are those slice of life moments on the ship, right?
Totally. And then Guinan. fitting
Right.
where she belongs, right? They found a good place in the story for her where it's a very good fit. Wesley talking to Data, they're playing chess at 10 Ford. Good fit character wise, location wise, what they're doing. Great to have Guinan in there. I thought that whole thing was good. That's why, like the third season, you could tell that they kind of understand characters better and they're really
Hmm.
trying to explore them better. But yeah, we got to see Guinan finally. It's been a while.
And to add to the Guinan thing, one extra element that I'm noticing with Guinan is they're using her specifically, more so in relationship
Check.
moments. So they're like, okay, so she can be the relationship advice kind of counselor, because Troy is being used for more on duty type of counseling, right? Like this, I sense this alien is this or that, more for the purpose of the mission of the ship. Sometimes she'll get into, how are you feeling with Wesley or someone else, but for the most part, the relationship guru counselor on the ship is Guinan. Now we can see that she's taken that spot on the mantle.
Right, which is a perfect fit for her. And that doesn't mean that her character needs to be relegated to only that, because remember, she's also non-human. She's an Elorian. So that gives her a little bit more, and you'll see in further seasons that she's not just the bartender. She's not just the relationship guru. She's a different alien that lives a really long time, as we've seen in Picard. We saw young Guinan in Picard in the 21st century. So we know that she's got a lot of stories to tell. Um, we know that she can pop up in different eras, hundreds of years ago or hundreds of years in the future. We know that she has the memories, from her race of other things. Remember how she knew the Borg? She kind of there's a lot more to explore there. But on the day to day, it's great that she and Troy now have their own lanes to kind of stay in as far as the stories are
Yeah,
concerned.
and the way they counsel is different. I want to just add to that too, because I noticed
True.
where Guinan says something like, she makes you understand how you are or what's going on by you revealing it. She'll make you say it, right? Uh,
100%.
you know, for example, in the Measure of a Man episode with the scene with Picard, where she says, "Yeah, people owning people," or something to that effect, invoking slavery. She just put it out there, and it made Picard think, "Oh yeah, wait a second, hold on. I see what you're saying." And in this moment, it was like, yeah, you didn't have any pressure. You were natural, Geordi, like you're talking to me now. That's attractive, somebody who's going to sell. And so she makes you come to the realization of something. Whereas I think Troy more explains what it is. You like to do this, and you are like a this. And
Yes.
because of that, you make this kind of decision, and more like, instructional, let's say,
Yep.
in that kind of clinical way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
I completely agree. I think that's perfect. She's much more informative. She's much more, about giving you information and explaining things to you and problem solving in that way. And Guinan is more of guiding you to come up with the conclusions yourself. She
Mhm.
has the wisdom of centuries behind her. She's your friend. She's not your counselor. She's a buddy that says, I don't know, what do you think? Or, well, I don't know, how would you feel if someone did this or that? Whereas Troy's like, I sense you're angry. That's probably because, it's just a totally
Mhm.
different way of doing things. Let's
Mhm.
hit our break super quick, everybody. And we're going to get back into this. This one's fun. A lot of good stuff to talk about. We'll be right
Yeah.
back on the seventh rule.